If you don't already know, when the left comes for you, the modern day American left, when they come for you, they don't just want to notch a quick W and use it for their propaganda purposes like they used to and move on. No, no. In the truly weaponized clown world of 2024, they are out for complete and total annihilation. They want you financially ruined. They want your job. They want your family's security. They want your freedom, especially if you're Donald Trump, but basically anyone. If they come for you, they want your freedom. Their goal is to take as much as they possibly can from you. And, you know, I used to think it was like some sort of like head on the pike sort of thing, like a warning to anyone else who might be thinking that they could be a Republican. But no, man, I don't think it's that at all. I think they are just complete, pure sadists. And the problem for them, I think, is sadists are not. They're just not that smart. And right now, they're trying to disbar, in the state of Georgia, of course, former assistant U.S. attorney and Trump co-defendant, innocent until proven guilty, but we want your job in the meantime, Jeffrey Clark. And here's why I say they're not that smart. The testimony that is coming out of the Clark Disbarment is insane, like literally insane. They told you it was a perfect election, right? A perfect election. And they also told you that the call Trump says was a perfect call was the real problem, was full of crimes. And now we hear in open court there are at least 6 unresolved affidavits regarding fraudulent voting.
For us, the ones which you believe are evidence of actual fraud having been committed.
Well, you're referring to electronic?
Anything.
Well, I'll give you an example. As a result of our concerns expressed in the December and November, we did a full statewide request for ballot images from all of the counties. We found out that the original ballot images in over about 70 counties had been destroyed, in spite of the fact that they were required to be retained for 2 years by federal and state law. We went in and we analyzed in Fulton County again, I hate to keep going back to them, but we found out that the Fulton County ballot images were electronically altered before the certification of the results in 2020. That is evidence of actual fraud that occurred, which is still not really been properly investigated to this day.
Okay, that's one. What else?
Isn't that kind of amazing, man? We've been commanded to believe, basically, under penalty of exile, is what they want, that the election was perfect. There's nothing to see here. Anyone who even thinks about questioning it is a democracy-hating conspiracy theorist who loves Vladimir Putin. Against that kind of backdrop, right, this guy alleges that we have actual evidence of actual fraud that Fulton County has completely ignored while they prosecute Republicans who dared ask any questions. He hears that and he says, okay, that's one. What else? I mean, even knowing the score, that's surprising to me.
In regards, we've since found that there were at least 1,000 double copied ballots in Chatham County. And we have found, I think, 8,000 double scanned ballots statewide, approximately. Now, that is not necessarily fraud. That could be errors, or it could be a mixture of fraud and errors. We have no way of knowing until all that's investigated.
And these are things that you found.
Our organization has
Can you give us
some of these things.
Can you cite us some examples of evidence of fraud that is in the public record? Not something that you have investigated and uncovered, but any other evidence of fraud? Well,
the evidence of the counterfeit ballots that we talked about earlier. Again, these were mail-in ballots that weren't folded from being mailed. They were not on the correct paper stock. They were not marked with a writing instrument. They were marked with toner, according to senior poll managers who've got sworn affidavits in court cases right now. They testified that they were marked the same way down ballot for dozens in a row. That's clear evidence of fraud in the 2020 election that was known before January 3rd. In fact, it was known before December 3rd.
There were 100 of those ballots, correct?
No one knows how many ballots were because we've spent 3 years in court trying to get those ballots public record. We actually appealed that case to the Georgia Supreme Court. We won the case in the Georgia Supreme Court. They declared that we had standing all along, and the Superior Court judge had made a complete That case went back down. He then passed it off to another judge who we believed was too impartial. We filed a motion to recuse. So after 3 years, we had still not got to see the ballots that there were 6 sworn affidavits for that were counterfeit. That is not the appropriate way to investigate. And the Secretary of State's office filed an amicus brief against us to try to prevent us from looking at the ballots. What kind of a Secretary of State would have done that?
Corrupt one, I guess.
That's your opinion, not mine.
I mean, what in the world can you even say about that, man? It is freaking amazing, man. When you talk about fraud with a Democrat, I mean, just try to follow the logic, right? They believe that President Trump is guilty of fraud in New York because the value he personally put on his properties didn't match Zillow, basically. No victims, no one lost a dime, everyone actually made a boatload of money, right? And that's fraud. That is disqualifying, undeniable fraud. But fraudulent ballots, ballots missing signatures, thousands of ballots double counted, maybe by fraud, maybe not. Who knows? We'll never know, because to hear them tell the story, there is no fraud. No one would ever cheat a vote. And even if someone would, it's never significant enough to have actually made a difference in the outcome. That's what they always tell us, right? And for some reason, when it comes to deciding the most important elections in the entire world, and if you think that's an overstatement, just ask Afghanis, any Eastern European you can find, and ask the Jews how important American elections are. They're important. But anyway, when it comes to deciding that, they have a predetermined, always changing level of acceptable fraud. And here's the thing, man. You either care about that stuff or you don't. You either enforce it or you don't. I mean, if somebody robs a Circle K and gets only $20, that's not real significant. But they're still going to prison. I mean, but that's liberal logic, man. Liberal logic is literally going to destroy the world. But that's just my take, man. I thought you guys deserved to see that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, man. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.